Okay, just wanted to start off by introducing you to Kevin. This is one of many dogs you'll see here. And by the way, you feel free to bring in your own dogs too. All right, first up is a 10 Honda CRV. Came to us for the AC not blowing cold. Needed a compressor, very, very common. We always require a condenser at the same time because the condenser plugs up and then it smokes the clutch on the compressor because it can't push refrigerant through a restricted condenser. This is how they all fail. Otherwise, you'll do the compressor over and over again. Back on the road, and it is ice cold. All right, next up is a 13 Honda Civic, and it only came in for an oil change, and the driver's window did not work. It just needed a window motor, but you can get it with the entire regulator, which is the way every car should be. You just swap it out after the door panel is removed, and the vehicle is now back on the road. All right, next up is a 13 Kia Soul. It came to us for lack of power, wouldn't go over 60 miles an hour on the highway. We found a catalytic converter was clogged up. In fact, this is our new thermal imaging camera that is fantastic for all sorts of things, never mind this right here. So it's saying that it's over 1,000 degrees before the catalytic converter and about 300 degrees after. It should be the opposite. The catalytic converter's job is to burn any fuel that didn't burn in the engine. So naturally, it's going to be hotter after the catalytic converter. So this is a nice way to figure it out. And of course, it's all plugged up inside there. There's a honeycomb with a bunch of precious metals that cleans the exhaust system. And this is actually a very common problem on these cars. And there's the finished product and back on the road. All right, next up is an 18 Hyundai Kona. It came to us for check engine light running rough, and the number one fix was to clean the intake valves. This is another walnut shell blast, which is something we recommend on any car, especially if it's direct injected. And every single one of them requires the intake manifold to be removed. And this is Chris putting it back on the car, and everything went back together well, and the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up is an '09 Hyundai Sonata. And this guy was traveling through from out of state and he needed an alternator because it had oil all over it from the front valve cover gasket leaking onto it. Actually, very, very common. We replaced the front valve cover gasket and the alternator and a battery, and we got them back on the road. And that alternator, I know it looks like it took them 5 minutes to do, but I tell you, you had to figure out the way to position that in order to get it out. They just wedged that engine in there. Uh, there's Chris taking the valve cover off. There's a lot of wires that go on top of it. You can see that the old valve cover turns to like hard plastic. Yeah, you can see the new one, it's blue, and that should last him a good long time, and the vehicle is back on the road. All right, next up we have a 12 Honda CRV. Just came in for a starter. I swear we've done over 500 of these starters. Very, very common. Surprised it had the original one in it. And of course, you got to take the intake manifold off, which is where they hide everything now. And the vehicle was done in one day, and it is back on the road. All right, and now we have a 16 Honda CRV. First time customer. Came to us for a check engine light, a bunch of lights. It actually came from several other shops. They did a bunch of work to it, and we figured it out. It needed fuel injectors. Very, very, very common on all Hondas over the last 10 years. And of course, it's direct injected. Look how nice and neat the guys are. You got to replace the stainless steel fuel pipe while you're in there, intake gasket. This intake is in the back of the engine, so it's a little more difficult to get to. And of course, we did a walnut blast while we were in there. The photos aren't that great. We used a boroscope in order to show you how dirty the valves are, and then they cleaned up pretty good. And everything, it was a couple days once we finally got it in to get it done. Cleared all the trouble codes, took it for a ride, and everything came out great. This is very common. We actually did 2 of these in one day, on a 17 and a 16, and back on the road. Okay, next up we have an 11 Kia Sorento. Great customer. Came in for a coolant leak, and it's this big plastic thermostat housing assembly. It's more than just a thermostat. This thing has sensors in it, all sorts of hoses, and of course it's all made out of plastic. Very, very common. However, it was the original one, 2011. That's not bad. 15 years. So we most likely won't have to go back in there again. Everything was done the same day once we got the part. The parts took a couple of days to come in. I don't know why. But here it is, all done, and it's back on the road. All right, next up is an '07 Toyota RAV4. This is a great customer. They're here because the passenger side seat belt won't retract on its own. You have to feed it back into the B pillar. Common on a lot of cars, but he wanted to get it fixed. The car is in excellent shape. Uh, there's a few shots of us taking the interior apart to access it. There is an explosive device used in this retractor. What it actually does is right before the airbag deploys, that little explosive device goes off and it takes up all the slack in the seatbelt before the airbag blows off. That way, less of an impact to your body, to the airbag. It keeps you strapped to the seat. And there it is, all finished. And the vehicle is back on the road. Okay, and our question of the week is from Diane. She asked if during an oil change, if we check multiple fluids like we used to in the past, or is it just an oil change? Yes, we still look at fluids. You can see right through the brake fluid reservoir, and you usually don't want to adjust the level because it goes down as the brakes wear down. Transmission fluid, almost all cars do not have a dipstick anymore. There's a special procedure that usually you charge for in order to check it with a scan tool and everything. Also, the power steering fluid, most cars do not have power steering fluid anymore. It's all electronic, and it's extremely reliable. Best thing they ever did. Also, washer fluid, we still top that off for free. For the last 19 years, been topping it off for free. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much for watching.